Hey, we're back and stuff again,
What?
which is
You're cutting out real bad.
my ass. I don't know, like I haven't changed anything.
You're good now. I don't know what happened, but
Okay.
Screw.
Well, maybe your OBS fucked your computer again or something. Um, who knows? Anyway, we're back playing this D&D campaign, which we did not let die. We just had real life stuff happen for approximately ever. And yeah, so cool. Where we left off last time, a long time ago, was with the group of only 3 adventurers making their way through the woods of Unarith, the elven realm to the east of um, Akarant, the human kingdom in which you guys had spent pretty much the whole campaign. Um, in search of an old holy man of elven descent who was said to be one of the few living entities in the world capable of bringing someone back from the dead. Armed with very little information, you guys began trekking through the woods, encountering lots of things along the way. A corpse flower, some kobolds, an owlbear, a forest gnome assassin
Shit.
that damn near took Bungdo down with him. Luckily, Bungdo was not traveling alone.
I will throw this in there too. That was not recorded. So, yeah.
Unfortunate.
No one shall know of the attempted assassination.
Illuminati confirmed?
That was a tech issue. I still haven't figured out why.
Sure.
You were here.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Was I?
Maybe.
And then, several days now into this journey, you heard a rustling and a crunching off to the side of the road and decided to investigate it. And as you did so, I believe I had you guys roll stealth checks, which didn't turn out so well, by and large. And so we left off with the loud snapping of twigs underneath the party's feet as they peered into a clearing at this large canine form that turned its head to see what the noise was, and instead of seeing the normal protruding snout and typical facial structure of a wolf or something to that effect, you saw this thing that you're looking at on the screen right now. Almost a humanoid face, somehow affixed to the front of this otherwise canine creature. And as it turned and sort of snarled at you with its nasty yellow teeth and bright red eyes, it began to spring into motion. And I'm going to make a quick roll, because I don't think I actually have initiative for this guy. So, do the thing. Hey.
Oh, it did a thing.
So, kind of peering out at you from this shaded, relatively clear area in the woods, comes bounding across the small clearing and lunges through the trees toward. Let's see, who is the noisiest? Maya.
Yeah.
So,
That one.
yeah. So it comes, dun dun dun, and it like leaps out, and as it breaks the last line of trees before meeting you and probably pouncing on you, taking you down to the ground, you watch as a beam of partially blocked but still present sunlight seems to catch it in the face, and it closes its eyes and it like kind of pulls to a stop and promptly fades away.
What?
Cool. Sunlight made it disappear. Do I know of any creature that sunlight would make it disappear?
Yeah, or do I, in my religious background?
Or
Yeah,
mine,
I
my
would
druid
say.
background.
I would say this could be either a religion or arcana check.
What about nature?
Not so natural.
Fine.
I know what the fuck it is. I think we all know what the fuck it is.
Well, fuck. Okay.
We're the
Yeah.
smart cookies. We're still alive.
You are still alive. You've made it this far. Well, since nobody rolled less than a 20, I think it's only fair that I give you guys a pretty fleshed out idea of what you just saw. So,
Penis.
you know that these things are known as Yeth Hounds. And they are granted by powerful fae to individuals who please them, serving their evil masters like hunting dogs. They run in pursuit of their prey, often waiting until it's too exhausted to fight back before closing in for the kill. And typically, only the threat of dawn drives a pack of them into hiding. But somehow, this one seems to have been stranded out in the middle of the woods and, until now, managed to keep to the relative shadows.
Do they disappear in sun? Like, does sun kill them?
Well, since you guys are apparently experts on Yethounds for some reason.
I found them really curious in the book I was reading. Which I found out.
Sure.
They remind me of hellhounds, and I
perfect.
hate them.
That's fair. They can't stand sunlight. A pack never willingly prolongs a hunt beyond the night hours, and always seeks to return to a dark den before the first rays of dawn. No amount of coercion by the pack's master can deter this behavior. If a Yethound is exposed to natural sunlight, it fades away, vanishing into the ethereal plane, from where its master can retrieve it only after the sun has set.
Cool.
What do we know about artificial light? Like a light
I don't know.
spell?
Hard to say. I mean, I would say that that's what you do know, and since there's no mention, or well, since it's specifically said natural sunlight, maybe safe to assume that other similar types of light maybe might not have the same effect.
Okay. And would I know what these things are? Whether they're like a beast or fae or what?
Yeah, I think that would be reasonable. And so you would know that this is, in fact, a fae creature.
Cool. That is awesome. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're smart cookies.
So, combat for the time being seemingly averted. what do you guys want to do? You're a few days into this journey, and from the sound of it, you are making your way toward the capital city in an attempt to maybe find someone who has info on this person, which would basically just mean you keep going east along the road. Is there anything you would like to do other than continue traveling?
Learn Gnomish.
Bungdo teaches Gnomish.
All the Gnomish. Okay. Cool. So,
I will motivate Bungdo to teach me Gnomish, saying now I can eavesdrop on other gnomes in search of, forest gnomes.
Good.
So are we,
Pungo's network of spies grows.
Yes, the gnome father.
So are we not going to investigate where this Yethhound came from?
I mean, we could.
Because
We
that sounds
probably
like
should.
whoever that is pretty powerful. Given the fact that it's granted by a powerful Fae.
Maya and Bungdo just stand there staring at Tormilla.
I mean, how have you guys gone this far? Well, I guess
Snot
I can
bubble
see
pops.
how. I guess I can see how Togar died now. And I'll turn and storm off into the direction that thing came from.
Okay. That was the clanging of her armor as she angrily
Yep.
stomps off. Yeah. So Tormilla storms off, and yeah, just deeper into the woods. See if you can
Bungdo
find
sighs
anything.
and follows.
Okay.
I will catch up with them because I'm currently farther away and follow.
Okay. Yeah, so I suppose in this case,
Once I get a little ways in, I'm gonna slow down and kind of try to get to where I can. I'm not in deep brush, basically. Try to get to where find an open spot.
okay. Yeah, I mean that's easy enough to do. You probably end up kind of wading through the thicker stuff for 5-10 minutes before you kind of reach a clearer patch. But yeah, you do find some semblance of a clearing.
All right, I'll wait and listen for Bungdo and Maya, and kind of grab them as they go by.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we need to make any checks for that. So yeah, the group reunites after a little tiny split. Not like split the party full on, but yeah. So you are all now deeper in the woods, off the road, off the beaten path, and what's the plan? Just kind of survey the woods and see if you can find a trail or anything suggesting where the thing might have come from.
How are the trees arranged in this area?
There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it.
But I mean, are they densely populated, or is it kind of scarce?
So the area, the small clearing-ish area that you're in, is probably not more than like 15 to 20 feet across in any direction. And here, there are just maybe a few small bushes and that sort of thing. But generally, the woods as a whole tend to be pretty densely wooded. Like probably not more than 4 to 5 feet between given trees.
Okay, so it is pretty dense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll look at Bungdo. Aren't you supposed to be able to track things? You're a nature.
I probably can.
I'm a nature.
You're a nature thing, a nature boy.
I could nature check, but I might have a spell.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Well, I don't have it prepared.
Oh, you don't.
Nope.
Ah.
Therefore,
Well. Oh.
What time of day is it?
Let's see. At this point, let me take a look. I actually do have an answer for that. It is like around getting toward evening.
Well, we can always set up camp now and try and, well, I mean that might be disastrous if it comes out at night, but
Well, yeah, they do come out at night, so probably not best to stick around till then.
I mean, yeah.
There isn't a range on EF Hound, is there? Like, it's not like a familiar where there's like 100-foot range.
Oh, like it must be so close to its master at all times, kind of
Yeah.
thing. No.
Okay.
Mm,
If we do stay somewhere, we probably should stay in the trees.
can they climb?
I mean, they're not native climbers. They can climb in the same sense that like a bear could climb.
Bears can climb pretty well. Some bears. Shit, we need to get somewhere away to somewhere safe at least.
well, Bungdo could turn into a bird and fly.
Actually, that isn't half bad idea. You should fly up and see if you can see anything.
Oh, no, who does that?
You know, like any, especially any caves and stuff they can hide in.
What about a bird nest? We could stay up there, off the ground. Bungdo would fit.
Okay, so Bungdo is turning into what variety of avian creature?
Penguin.
What? Wait!
I could turn into a bird, turns into a penguin, and just waddles off into the woods.
Perfect.
If you do giant eagle,
Can I
will
actually? I'll do giant eagle.
Okay.
So I guess I will hop on back.
All right, and Maya's just hanging out in the woods.
I mean, I'll just go with Termilla.
Okay, so Bungdo would be a very weighed down giant eagle.
Oh, she's flying. Sorry, I'm trying to do.
Can I handle that many people?
It would be hard, like.
Um,
Can I? What does this do?
I'll just hang out in the woods in a nice clearing somewhere.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so to paint something of a picture for you guys, you would have kind of split from the road, and the road itself runs east-west. You were headed east toward the capital city of the elves, and you actually ended up going north off the road for Probably not more than 10 minutes or so. So as the giant eagle with the dwarven cleric on his back breaks the top of the forest and gets some sense of the surroundings, you can see obviously the large kind of aisleway that is carved for the road in the treetops, of course. But then looking around, I mean, how far are you willing to search, I guess, before I just spell everything out for you?
A fair amount. Say a couple
Okay.
miles.
Okay. So yeah, you do your best to get a quick glance at the surrounding, say, 2-mile radius or so. And let's see. So you see, coming from along the road, there are a number of like small columns of smoke, suggesting probably campfires or something to that effect.
Which direction is that?
So the road is south of you, and it runs pretty much the whole length of your search area, east to west. There are probably 5 or 6 different, basically traveling bands or whatever that have stopped and set up camp for the evening. At least if you can judge by the amount of smoke columns that you can see.
And are they close to one another, or are they kind of spread out?
They tend to be pretty spread out. Like, I guess if either one of you would like to make a survival check, I guess I could perhaps give you a little bit more information that you might be able to glean from that.
Sure.
Okay. So, yeah, I think with that survival check, Tormilla is pretty confident that the reason why these things are maybe a bit further apart than you would expect is the smoke columns themselves actually look to be pretty sizable. So maybe multiple traveling groups have kind of come together and banded together for safety or whatever other reason in the night.
All right. I'll just kind of lean down next to Bundo's head and say, we should try to meet up with one of those groups and offer to protect them for the night.
I could fly you to each.
You can't talk.
I know, but you can.
Oh.
What I'm saying out of character, I could just fly
Yeah.
you to each instead.
Hey, you're flying. I'm just along for the ride, so you do you.
I do that. I fly to each.
Okay.
Starting with the one that looks the most important or rich.
The most rich or important. Okay. So, yeah, you fly along the road, and each time you pass over one of these camps as you're surveying them to see, of course, who has the nicest carriage and all that good stuff. You know, you hear a bunch of oohs and ahs from the kids as they watch the massive
They do
bird
it very
fly overhead. Okay.
Do we hear do I hear that?
Like the kids reacting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you hear it.
I'm just going to cast thaumaturgy to make my voice 3 times as loud, and I'm gonna say, "Remember, kids, listen to your parents." As we fly over.
Okay. And so, you patrol a good stretch of the road, just kind of seeing who all might be settling in for the evening. And about a mile or so down from the area where you had departed from the road earlier in the day, you come across a decent-sized, like basically circle of carriages and wagons and such that seems to have been set up as a, typical temporary barrier from any prowling nocturnal creatures or what have you. And sitting inside, you see probably close to a dozen humanoids, mostly elves. Some adult, a couple children in the mix. All reasonably well appointed with somewhat colorful garb, and suffice to say, it's not unreasonable to think that these people have a bit of cash on them, or at least somewhere accessible.
Indeed. Land all fancy like.
Okay, so where do you land?
Does it look like they have guards?
Make a perception check.
With advantage because I'm flying.
I think it's because you're a giant eagle, but you
Yeah, advantage, but not because you're flying.
yeah.
So go ahead and roll one more time. All right. Yeah, it looks like there are 3 individuals with crossbows or traditional bows sitting atop the wagons and carriages, kind of keeping an eye out. Mostly to the woods, more ground level than looking to the skies per se, but they do seem to have armed guards.
I land in front.
Okay, so like outside the circle of wagons?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I said, what
Alright.
are you doing? Okay, I'll hop off.
Okay. And at this point, the closest guard has kind of snapped to, a more attentive stance, and you see the crossbow that he's holding kind of it's aimed in your general direction, not like trained on you, but he wants you to know. It means business, and he says, "Who goes there?"
I squawk.
I'll say, my name is Tormilla. This is Bungdo the Idiot. We have another person as well with us. Her name is Maya. We were wondering if we could possibly join your camp for the night. We're heading towards the Elven City, and we're trying to find the safest route possible, and we just saw a Yethhound. So, safety in numbers is definitely a good option right now.
Says, "I've not heard of that kind of dog."
Fucking idiot.
It's I will give him a brief description of what they are.
And it was after you, was it?
It did come after our companion. However, it touched sunlight and, well, it disappeared. But they are roaming around here, so.
So, what you're suggesting is that I let in somebody who was attacked by a devil dog to, have tea with my client?
No, what I'm suggesting is that we know how to take this thing out, and it was
Got a son on you, have you?
No. I do have certain powers that can aid in fighting something such as this. But it didn't just target us. It's just they're running around out here, and it happened to find us and attack us. So it will hear you. You've got this blazing fire. You've got all these people sitting around talking. It will easily hear you and come charging into camp anyway. It's better to have a couple more fighters who know what you're up against.
Make a persuasion check.
Alright, we'll try. Okay.
He you can see the wheels turning, maybe a little slowly, but they're turning. And he looks back to one of the other guards posted on top of the rest of the caravan, and says, "Hey, come here." Walks over, and they're kind of like, talking, kind of hushed between themselves, and I think what you see is like the guy that you've been having this conversation with eventually says, "All right, hold on," and he like turns around, climbs off the top of the wagon, and leaves the other guy just kind of like awkwardly standing there, watching you, uh, as he goes and talks to his boss. And let's see. Takes him a while, but he comes back, and after kind of awkwardly climbing back up on top of the wagon and dusting himself off, clearing his throat, says, "You may enter, but we're watching you."
I'll turn to Bungo the bird and say, you want to go get Maya?
I do. I take off. All fancy like.
All right.
Okay.
I'll turn back to him and say, he'll be back with Maya. And I'll kind of describe Maya. You know,
Okay.
I'll just kind of head in and say, well, yeah, where do you want me to put my stuff?
In the meantime,
Yeah.
Maya's been hanging out in the woods in a clearing all by herself as darkness descends on the woods. And yeah, things get well, it seems like there are two extremes, right? There's dramatically quiet, where there's almost no audible wildlife about. Not deathly quiet like a certain other adventuring party experienced in this general area, but just very quiet, very still. I guess depending on what's going on in your headspace, it could be either the most wonderful and serene thing, or it could be terrifying. But then, every once in a while, you hear the snap of a twig, flutter of wings, the hooting of an owl.
I definitely have a torch out.
Okay. You wait around for probably close to an hour. Well, no, not close to an hour. Probably close to, like, we'll say 25 minutes for the sake of... I don't even remember how long Bungdo can wild shape at this point, but...
You can... Let me see exactly what the thing says.
He gets it for like longer than an hour. I know that.
Yeah, it's like an
Yeah.
hour plus some...
Plus your level? Beast level? Something like that? Druid level? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been a minute.
He gets it for quite a bit, though.
Anyway, we'll say like an hour or so. You wait around. Eventually, you do see a large but familiar shape swooping down into the clearing.
I visibly relax.
Okay. And so, what does Bungdo the bird do?
What do you mean?
I mean, are you gonna gesture somehow like, hey, get on?
Nope. I just stand there staring.
Okay, okay, that's cool. So yeah, there's a bird awkwardly staring at you, but you know it's Bungdo, or you're pretty sure it's Bungdo. It's a really weird eagle if it's not.
I cock my head sideways.
Should I go with you to see Tormilla?
Eagles have tongues.
Yeah.
I open my beak and let my tongue hang out whilst sideways.
I'm gonna go with a yes. I will approach him to climb on his back.
I lower down so she can get on.
Okay. And so, yeah, you guys begin flying back toward the camp. Now, as Tormilla makes her entrance, yeah, you kind of walk in, letting yourself in between the tightly arranged vehicles of varying sizes and shapes, and yeah, sitting around a good-sized fire, you see basically what looks like maybe 3 families of elven individuals, as well as a couple more seemingly independent individuals that you gather might be, guards or something to that effect, hired hands. Specifically, you catch the gaze of an older, not elderly, but older elven gentleman. With kind of a very faint, wispy mustache kind of thing going on just around the top, like just barely tracing the top of his lip, and like longer hair that's kind of receding a bit, drawn back tight. He meets your gaze and says, "Tormilla, was it?"
Yes.
Don't see many dwarves around here.
Well, we're on a quest to save a fallen friend.
I see. Well, I wish you the best in that. But in the near term, what brings you here? I've heard of this hound that apparently that you apparently had a run-in with earlier this day, but do you come to us seeking refuge? Do you... I suppose I'm letting you in more out of interest than true understanding of this arrangement.
It's more of a mutual thing. I feel that, if we were in a camp such as this, we would be better able to, number one, protect more people, which is always a good thing, and number two, would also have more people and the ability to protect ourselves better. So it's, again, like I said, it's a mutual.
Understood. Well, I hope you all have your own equipment, as we don't have any spare bedrolls or really much of anything apart from what little we could grab from the remnants of our home.
I bet you guys haven't had a very good meal in a while. I can actually help with that. It's not the tastiest of food, but I can guarantee I can fill most of you guys up.
Well, that would certainly be welcome.
I'm gonna wait until my other companions get back, so that I can give it to them as well. But yes, I
Of
will
course.
definitely do that. Oh, and if you have any water dishes or water buckets or anything, I can fill most of them up as well with some fresh water that will not go bad.
Intriguing. He kind of like he looks you over and says, "You don't strike me as a druid, so would that make you a woman of the cloth?"
I just nod my head. And I'll say, yep, yes, I am indeed.
Well, I suppose it is fortuitous that we've run into each other this day, but well, let us wait and see what your other companions uh, how they strike me. Can never be too careful these days.
Well, I will tell you, Bundo, the bird that I rode in on, is a gnomish druid that is very eccentric. And the companion he is retrieving, Maya, she's young still. She has yet to see the world fully. So
She's ignorant.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying she's young and she will question you. She will question everything. But
Spooky.
but she has no ill will.
Well, as long as the eccentric one isn't eccentric to the point of dangerous.
No, he has a strong bark, but very little bite.
Okay.
He kind of smirks, gives you that knowing look, like, oh, one of those.
I kind of chuckle and say, "Yeah,
He stands up
How
and
close would I be?
you are far away."
yeah, you still got a few minutes, because like basically this is happening within the first couple minutes of you being on your way back to pick up Maya.
I think eagles have good senses. Also, I crit.
So, I mean, still though, like they're not that good. You know, just because you decide you're gonna make a roll doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get the result of that.
know.
Okay. But yeah, so the older elven man kind of stands up and steps towards you, holding out a hand.
I'll also reciprocate the gesture. Step towards him, raise my hand.
And says, "Pleasure to meet you. My name is Rofir.
How do you spell that?
Rofir.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And I'll say, my name is Tormilla.
Yes, I know." But yeah, and then he gestures back and says, "Most of these are my extended family. We've come this way. We too are traveling toward the capital and seeking refuge at the tree until we can lay down more permanent roots after the events of Fear and Fear."
What exactly happened there?
I forget that sometimes outsiders aren't apprised of everything. Were you aware that there's a civil war going on?
Um, no. No, we were not made aware of that at all.
He says, "Well, you've chosen certainly an interesting time to journey through Unarith. There are two factions at play, um, vying for control of the realm's future. Of course, there are those who still remain loyal to the tree and those who dwelled there for generations. And there are, well, an upstart bunch of, well, you could call them revolutionaries, you could call them insurgents. I suppose it depends on where your opinion falls on the matter, but their cries in battle are for freedom, and essentially they seek to break the tradition of, well, rather inward attentions on the part of my people. If you come from anywhere outside the borders of the wood, which I assume you do, you likely haven't had much in the way of dealings with elves as we know them here in Unarith. We tend to keep to ourselves.
Okay.
By my understanding, the opposition to the tree seeks to perhaps, I wouldn't say completely do away with the borders, but certainly become a more worldly society.
And of
And
course,
all
the
that
tree doesn't
entails.
like that.
Well, no. Those in power like to keep things as they are.
Well, it's the age-old struggle.
Very true. I personally don't have a strong opinion one way or the other, but I will say I do wish that whatever the ending to this conflict is, it comes about sooner rather than later. I lost my house, as did the rest of my extended family here, and most of the residents of Firenthir, which is why perhaps you've seen a little more traffic on these roads than you might expect recently. He just sighs and says, I'm simply glad that we have the means to support ourselves in the interim. I know many of our fellow residents don't find themselves in nearly viable a position. And as this whole thing is going on, I would say it's probably reasonable to assume that Bungo and Maya eventually swoop down. And yeah, so you find yourselves again kind of at the outside of this circled bunch of wagons and carts.
I'm gonna actually have climbed on top. If I'm not still talking to him, the owner.
Yeah, it's all good. We can kind of like fast forward it. You know, this is just more exposition for you guys, so you have some clue what's going on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna climb up top and just keep watch for Bungdo and Maya.
Okay. Yeah, and it's not too long before you see the big eagle swoop down and Maya let herself down off of it, and yeah, so the party is somewhat reunited.
As soon as they land and Maya hops off, I'll cast Thaumaturgy on myself and in a louder voice I'll say, "Bungdo, behave."
Bungler just kind of sighs again and sits down in his bird form.
You can come in, Bungdo. You just gotta don't light things on fire.
I squint at you and walk in. I ask for starfruit though, with like a little pawing at the bag kind of thing.
They're rotten.
Well, press to digitate.
That still doesn't.
Yeah, not sure that's how that one works.
No,
Where's it shot?
I don't
It will
have
make it taste
prestidigitation.
not rotten.
I don't have prestidigitation anyway.
Don't one of you?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
C'est la vie.
I have 0 magic.
Yeah. Her magic is her fist. Well, I guess this would be a good time then. I will sit down, and once they get some buckets and stuff out for me to put the water in, I will cast this.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So,
So, yeah, kind of just on whatever food surfaces and into whatever liquid vessels they can produce. You bring forth quite the bounty of food and drink and all that stuff.
And
Water specifically.
and how I do it is like if it's just a table, I just kind of wave my hand over the table and just a big pile of sandwiches.
Well, we have like a bunch of owl meat, so if you want to feed their horses,
We can we can do that. But I do a bunch of sandwiches and then like for dumping the water, I just kind of have my finger in like a gun, and I just kind of tip it into the thing and just dump it in. That's how I fill stuff up.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah,
All right. And yeah, you know, again, I think very similar to seeing the eagle flying overhead. Like the smaller kids in the group are kind of like, "Whoa, that's amazing!" You know, eyes wide, kind of gawking at the whole thing. You do see like one kind of like younger boy, kind of like sitting off, kind of trying to play it cool, like looking and then just like putting his head back down, like he's kind of shy. He's just like hanging out by what you assume is like his mom or something. But yeah, most of them are like just right up in your face as you're doing this, like staring at the jugs as you're filling them up.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, seeing that kid as soon as like once he looks over at me again, like if I ever meet his eyes,
Mhm.
I'm gonna cast a second thaumaturgy and have my eyes just glow bright white.
Okay.
Just for a split second that I meet his gaze.
Okay. So yeah, you do that and you time it just so, and like you see him, you know, he like kind of sneaks a peek over and you pop the effect, and immediately he just like kind of like hides in his cloak and just sort of like tucks into the side of his mom.
What I'm gonna do then, I will grab a sandwich and walk over and offer it to him, and you know, offer to his mom to come grab food.
Okay. So yeah, you walk over and offer it. The mom is like, It's fine. It's fine. She's feeding us. She's providing for us really quite a bit. And she looks up at you and says, "Thank you very much." Sort of just under her breath, trying to um, get the kid to engage. And
Oh, he's fine. It's not often you see, dwarves, especially ones that do that. But I do what I can.
okay, and it takes some coaxing, but eventually he like comes out from hiding. He's not like buried in her side anymore, and kind of like lets himself just barely like open the cloak up a little bit, and like you see him he, like reaches out a hand to just quickly like grab at the sandwich, and you see there's what looks like little flecks of rusted metal or something on his hands as he just snatches the sandwich out.
Does it look like? Are they like rings, or is it like metal residue?
It's like just little, almost dusty kind of bits of rust that have accumulated on his hand from something.
Oh. I'll say, you might want to clean your hand off first. That's not a good thing. Where did you get? Is that rust?
He kind of looks at you and looks back down, not saying anything. And you see him kind of like he like closes up his two hands, kind of like just balling them up one on top of the other sort of deal. And he like stares back down at the ground and kind of like tucks back into his mom's side again.
I'll say, hey, I'll tell you what. I'll show you a trick if you tell me where the rust came from.
It's like slow peek out.
Is there a
And he
torch
kinda-
or something nearby?
Yeah. I think there are probably a number of currently unlit torches. Like they've got the light of the fire mostly to illuminate. But yeah, you can find one, no problem.
All right. I'll light it real quick and I'll say, what's your favorite color?
He like thinks for a minute and says, blue."
As soon as he says the word blue, the light becomes blue.
See the eyes kind of go wide, not in that like ooh ah sense, but like, oh, that's kind of scary.
And I'll just make it. I'll dim it and I'll say, what's another color?
Green.
Boom, green.
Okay. Yeah, he's looking at you suspiciously. Not maybe not as terrified as before, but still like, oh, this is sketchy.
I'm a lady of the cloth.
All right,
Nothing
and
weird.
he says, Can you can you like do other miracles like what Granny Earth talks about?"
Granny Earth. What kind of stuff does Granny Earth talk about? Because I might be able to.
And he kind of like he visibly relaxes a little bit, and it's like, well, she always tells me stories about how when I come visit her, there'll be like flowers and friendly butterflies and a tasty dinner, and he just goes on and on and on. And he says, she sounds really nice.
And who is it that was telling you about this?
Granny Earth.
Granny Earth. Where was Granny Earth?
I think she lives out in the woods.
Do you know which direction?
No.
No. Is that where you got where you got your hands dirty?
He kind of like looks down at his hands, and you see one of them has been like closed the whole time, and he opens it up, and inside of it there's like this, looks like a rusted iron ring, like ring, like piece of jewelry
Yeah.
that he's just kind of holding on to.
Let's see. Well, what is that? Let me see it, and I would hope I would have a little bit of water left, and I'll just kind of like sprinkle my finger around it and wash it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is like thoroughly rusted.
Oh, it's like super super bad.
Yeah.
I'll say, what is this, or what was this?
He kind of like, he looks around almost kind of suspiciously for a second. He's like, it's how I talk to her.
Oh. Well, when do you usually talk to her?
Usually at night, like before bedtime. She'll tell me stories and stuff.
Does anybody else know that you talk to Granny Earth?
I don't think so. I mean, anytime I tell people about my friends, it's usually like they don't believe me. I have an active imagination. He actually uses a pretty big word for being like, at least from outside perspective, looking like he's probably 6.
Yeah. And I'll say, well, I always believe anybody unless they prove to me that they're lying. So, well, how did you come across this?
I woke up one day after we left home, and there was a tree stump in our campsite, and this was sitting on it. It was right next to where I was sleeping.
Huh. How long ago was this? A couple days ago?
Yeah, sometime earlier this week.
Okay. Well, you be careful with this. And I'll give it back to him. And I'll
He
say,
just kind of nods and grabs it, and again, like, holds it close.
and I'll say, I will probably come back a little bit later, and I'll introduce you to my friend Bungdo. He's really cool. He can turn into any type of animal.
Like, any kind?
I think so. I've seen him turn into...
I see. Whoring me out to some child for my magical prowess.
We'll see. We'll have to ask him. But I've seen him turn into a big bird.
I still am a big bird.
This is true.
He might still be a big bird then. But yes, we may come back and talk to you because I think Mother Earth might be the person we're looking for as well. Or Granny Earth might be the person we're looking for as well.
Okay, well, if you go to visit her, maybe you could talk my parents into letting me go with you. She sounds really nice.
We could look into that. I want to make sure that it is safe, for sure, before we take you. But she sounds like she's safe. Let me talk to my friends, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
So, all right. And I'll say, don't forget to eat some food. It's
Yeah, he like takes a big bite of the sandwich.
have as much as you want. And I'll walk back over and I'll kind of grab Maya and say, Maya, that little kid has a ring and he's talking to somebody. I. Any thoughts on that?
Is there a problem with a kid having a ring?
Well, he's talking to somebody, and he said he just found the ring. And, I mean, with what we know about what's been running around out there, you think maybe that's the same person?
Well, we can check it out, at least. I don't
We-
think there's harm in it.
No, but this he said that this person refers to themselves as Granny Earth.
Do I know any stories about a Granny Earth that has been told?
Make a history check.
Oh, my food's here. I'll be right back.
Okay.
How about a 10?
How about not really?
Okay.
I haven't heard of a Granny Earth either, so maybe Bungdo has
maybe.
because.
Yeah, I guess we can ask.
But I definitely think we
But-
should at least investigate this because anything that has a Yeth Hound is not a good thing. I wouldn't think.
Well, no. But what has the F-Hound might not be anywhere near here. And it might just be a kid's imagination.
Yeah, well,
But we're not doing anything tonight, so
yeah.
besides sleeping.
But we might want to be on guard in case something happens.
Well, yeah.
So, alright, and I'll look around. Is Bungdo, the bird, still around? Or is he full in the coop?
He is securing food somewhere. Noisily.
While
That's right.
Tormilla
Alright, I am
is
back.
doing all of her talking and creating food and stuff, I'm pulling out owlbear meat and cooking it for people.
Okay.
Ooh,
Cool. So yeah, it's like full on like pretty nice dinner you guys got going on.
I'm getting me some owlbear meat too from Maya.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bland.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, mine's like bread. It's sandwiches basically. So you're out. It's steak and sandwiches.
Before Bungdo leaves, I ask him if he has any good herbs that I can put.
I'll to use some of my spices.
Yeah.
You want spices? Bungdo got spices. He got all kinds of spices.
He's a spice master.
But can I get the spices?
I'd have to turn back into Bungdo, so I do so.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Getting flavored meat is better than being a bird. Yeah. I have Bungdo help me cook it.
With produce flame.
While we're over there, I'll say, hey, Bungdo, have you ever heard of... Because I'm still over there waiting for meat. Have you ever heard of Granny Earth?
Have I heard of Granny Earth?
Make a history check. Not really. I mean, you've heard of a number of like stories of creatures of the wild that take on names like that when dealing with more mundane races. But you don't have any specific reference for a Granny Earth.
I tell him it's a demon.
Well, we need to go kill it. We need to go talk to this kid because this kid found a ring that is communicating directly to this Granny Earth. And
I'm just kidding. I don't know what it is.
Will the kid give you the ring, and then you can talk to Granny Earth?
Or Arcana check.
I might. Yeah. Well, I'm not good with magical stuff. That's not.
I am.
I know that. That's why I came to get you. And I wanted to let Maya know too.
Well, then let's go see what it is.
Okay. Hey Maya, how much longer on the meat?
Bungdo, how much longer on the meat?
Bungdo looks at the fire and the meat, and then back to you guys, then back to the fire, then back to you guys.
Finish
And just
finish the
is
meat
blank.
first. I'm hungry.
He also increases the size of the flame.
I'm like, you can go.
I make it blue.
Oh.
The flame is now blue.
Woo.
Blue flame.
Oh, blue who?
Okay, well, we'll eventually finish cooking meat. Probably not all of it, but a certain amount of it.
What, you don't want to cook like, what was it, 170 pounds or something?
275.
275.
Jeez. Let's cook like 50 or 60 pounds. Just make some steaks out of it.
Fucking massive barbecue every night until you get to the capital.
Dude, we could. Like, we could totally travel with these guys. We've got so much food.
They will never regret.
Wigwet.
They will not regret!
Having us
Marriage!
come along.
Marriage! Jesus.
Gosh, that's terrible.
Indeed.
No
mouth is
wigwets.
racist.
I regret everything.
No regrets.
So, eventually, there's cooked meat.
Sweet.
And you can have cooked meat. What else do you do?
So, I guess I
Well-
will... Oh, go ahead. Phil.
I mean, I'm assuming we're probably gonna go back to the kid.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll lead them back to the kid. And we'll... we can distribute the meat as we go.
Okay.
I mean, I was assuming people were probably lining up to get meat
Oh, that works
because
Yeah.
nom nom.
It's all good.
too. All right. So once all
People
that's
have
done-
meat.
Yes. So once that's all done, we can walk over and I'll say, walk up to the kid and I'll say, "This is my friend Bungdo that I was telling you about. He would like to take a look at the ring too, if that's okay. I think he's talked to this Granny Earth before."
Kind of like looks at Bungdo, looks back at Tormilla, and like kind of hesitantly, but he still does it. He just slowly like brings out the hand that he has like clasped over the ring, and kind of holds it out, and you can see there's still like flecks of just the brown, like rusty residue kind of all over his hands.
I take it and Arcana check it.
Okay. I mean, it's not unheard of that something like this could be used to communicate with somebody. I mean, you yourself have dealt with sending stones and the like. But in terms of trying to like discern any specifics, it's kind of hard to do. I mean, it basically just looks like it's been, for all you know, it's been sitting at the bottom of a pond for like 50 years and just rusted through and through.
I'll kind of lean over. Bungdo, try to use it.
Actually, yeah, I would like to try and talk to Granny Earth.
Okay. What do you say to Granny Earth?
Hello, Granny Earth. It is I, Bungdo, your new overlord. How are you?
No
That's what I say.
response. There's no response.
Well, I turn to him and say it's just a ring.
Well, how,
Can't talk to her. Can't do anything.
how do
Pretty
you,
stumped on what to do now.
okay. I guess I'll give him back the ring and I'll say, how do you talk to, or how do you hear Granny Earth?
And he says, it's it's like she's right next to me. It's like she's just whispering.
Do you have to put the ring on?
No.
Oh. Hmm. Well, is it about time that the time that she usually talks to you?
Yeah, it should be pretty soon. Usually like right after dinner when I'm getting ready to go to bed.
Well, if you don't mind, I would like to sit and see if I hear her.
Okay.
So I will, I guess, go and just kind of chill with him while he sits and listens.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's still kind of the dinner uh I don't know, the event that is dinner, especially now that there's like fresh food and all this stuff. The people around her are visibly, I don't know that excited is the right word, but like spirits are visibly lifted.
Cool.
Um, and so it seems like you guys have made a pretty good impression on this group. But eventually, food is put away, that which can be held onto, and the fire is not put out, but at least brought down to a manageable level for sleeping purposes.
Oh, actually, I'll dim the fire for him
Okay.
because I can do that.
All right. And yeah, one by one, the travelers and their children kind of go off to their uh, either inside their fully enclosed carts if they have them, or at least far enough from the fire that they have some semblance of personal space. Um, kind of going off to bed or at least attempting to sleep. And so you again kind of hang by your new friend here, who, by the way, he introduces himself in that time. His name is Erlin, which I will put in chat.
All right.
And so he and his mother and a couple siblings all kind of go off to, again, their area. You hang out with Erlen, maybe he like takes the end or whatever, and you're just kind of keeping watch or however you want to go about doing that.
Yeah. I'm just, what I'm gonna do though
Mhm.
is, about the time that people start doing that, I'm actually going to reach out and touch. I think I have to touch him. Yes, I'm gonna reach out and just kind of pat him on the shoulder and say, I hope Granny Earth is okay, and I'm gonna cast protection from evil and good on him.
Okay. So let's see.
So
Can't be charmed, frightened, possessed. Yeah, okay.
and it protects against aberrations, celestials, elemental, fae, fiends, and undead.
Gotcha.
So, and
All right.
just knowing what I know about the Yethhound and stuff, it might help.
Okay. Cool. So you do that, and like I guess explain to me as the kid's kind of like laying there, kind of in a getting ready to go to sleep sort of situation. Uh, what's your situation, I guess, in the scene?
I haven't heard anything, right? No whispers, no anything.
Nothing yet. No.
Um, is he clutching the ring still, like holding it?
Yeah, he is holding it.
I'll just say, can I put my hand on it as well to see if maybe that might help me hear her? Like, I'll ask him if I can just touch the ring as well.
Yeah, he's okay with that.
So, and I'll just kind of, I guess, sit back and just wait and see if I hear anything.
Okay. All right. So let's see here.
And I will also let his mom know what I think is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll pull her aside and say, hey, I think I'm making sure this is not malicious, because if it is, it very well may be demonic, and I'm going to take care of that. So.
Okay. Yeah, and she's certainly, she's pro getting rid of demons. If there's any of that around.
Yeah, especially if there's one that's talking to her son.
Right. Okay. So, yeah. You spend, a few minutes as Erlen's just kind of lying there, like kind of visibly trying to stay awake at this point because, it's been a long travel day. Yeah, he's kind of like laying there, and you see him like kind of begin to nod off, and yeah, probably 10-15 minutes go by, still awake, just barely, when yeah, you hear a whispered voice inside your head almost. It just says, Erlen, can you hear me? And his eyes kind of like get a little bigger, and he like looks over at you like, see, I'm not crazy. He doesn't say anything. He just,
Yeah, he looks at me, I just give a single nod. And, like, I've got, not smiling, just kind of like no expression, just, I'm here.
mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing this, so.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of motion for him to continue to do what he normally does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he kind of like he slowly, quietly sort of whispers under his breath, like barely audible. You can see him just kind of mouth like, yes, Granny, I'm here. And there's like a little pause. And the voice says, good, good. I hope the road hasn't been too unkind to you today. More like pleasantries and that sort of thing.
Any hints of, like, at all of this, that this person's unhinged?
Well, the conversation does kind of carry on, and it's like, hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good day. And Erlen just sort of says, "Yeah, it was it wasn't too bad. I still wish we could go home, but I guess we have to go find a new house." And she says, "Well, you could always come live with me."
At that point, I just kind of I get like visibly excited and I give like the thumbs up to him, like to keep going. So
Okay.
I'm trying to find out where she is.
Okay. And yeah, so he kind of like slowly whispers back, "Oh, you keep telling me all these cool stories about coming to visit you. Where are you? Where do you live?" And she says, "If you just go across the road and through the woods for a few minutes, just straight away from the road, you'll find a little clearing with a couple of tree stumps in the middle of it. If you go sit on one of those, I can come get you and show you my house." And Erlen kind of like looks over at you like, "What do I do?"
I'll nod my head.
He says, "Okay, right now?" And the voice says, "Yes, it's fine.
About the
You
same
can sleep over."
I was gonna say about the same time it says yes, I start nodding my head, already knowing its response.
Okay.
And I'll kind of get his attention and motion like 1-5, and I'll point like, like basically give us 15 minutes.
Okay.
Right.
And he says, well, okay. My mom doesn't like it when I go out into the woods by myself. She's still awake. Let me just wait for her to fall asleep, and then I'll be there." Again, a little bit of a pause, and the voice just says, "Very good. I'll see you soon, Erlen." He just says, "Bye." That's the last of the conversation.
Right. I will say, all right, give me a couple minutes to grab my friends, and let me talk to your mom, and I may be able to take you on an adventure. Immediately after that, I'm gonna go and talk to her and like his mom and say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure this thing wants to abduct Erlen. Are there any but capable fighters that would be willing to go with us to help?
She looks around the camp and says, um, hmm, I, I don't know. I didn't hire. Uh, well, I suppose you could talk to Rofier and see if uh, he'd be willing to send out a few men. He's a good man. I wouldn't be surprised if we could get some sort of help from him.
Yes. I fear for Erlen, so I did cast a protection spell on him. It's not going to last a whole lot of time, but hopefully it'll be long enough for us to take care of whatever's out there. He wants to go and see her, but this is something beyond what it seems. So,
Hmm. And how am I to know that you're not a part of this? Forgive me for being so bold, but it does seem strange that the night these three strangers show up at the camp, my son suddenly wants to go out on an adventure in the woods.
well, have you heard him talking to himself in the last couple days at all? Because you've seen the ring that he has. I just sat in there and heard somebody talk to him through that ring.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
Becca, are you awake?
Yep.
Hey, Becca? Becca?
Yep.
This is going to take, like, serious measures. Hold on a second.
Phil, are you awake?
Yes, I am. I'm just muted.
Okay. Lawful good cleric. I'm sorry. I have to do this. Maya was over there falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Head in a
It's
sand.
been a long day.
Using a sandwich as a pillow. Um,
So.
right.
I'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
So essentially, I guess where were we? Sorry.
She's kind of like suspicious about the whole thing. And oh, you asked if she had heard Erlen talking at
Oh
all.
yes.
And yeah, she says, I haven't heard him talking. I mean, I saw he was playing around with that old ring. Wasn't sure where he'd gotten that from, but he doesn't seem to have been acting too out of the ordinary lately.
No, I don't think it's necessarily a controlling thing. It's just right now it's just talk, but she just invited him to come out. He actually asked her because she has been telling him all about this nice field and with all these flowers, and that he should come visit. And this is all he will tell you all of this. This is all that he told me, and I just heard for myself. I have no thoughts of him leaving and going out there with us. But I'm just letting you know that ring there's no good to that. But something is maliciously out there.
So he can stay here then.
Yes, he's not leaving this house. In fact, I may ask Rofier to send an extra guard over to your house, or to your wagon.
Like the sleeping area. Yeah. Okay. Well, she says, I suppose I don't have any issues with that as long as my son doesn't have to go out into those woods.
No, definitely not. We may disguise one of our own to look like your son. I'm pretty sure the short one can do that.
Once again, being volunteered for shenanigans.
I mean, let's be fair. Bungdo is the #1 exporter of shenanigans in this group.
You
so
really are. I assume you can do fucking anything. Until you prove to me otherwise. I've seen you do crazy shit. So.
Yeah, and she again just says, "Well, as long as it's not really my Erlen, I that."
Okay. So. Alright, well, I better go tell them. And I'm gonna head off and go grab Bungdo and Maya.
Okay.
I will inform them of what has transpired.
Okay. And for those who are in a really really deep sleep, are we comfortable with what's going on?
I heard. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Oh, so you
fuck.
you missed the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Basically, it wants him to go out. The voice wants him to go out in the woods and, in the middle of the night, and go to a clearing and sit on a log and wait.
Oh, okay.
And
To be eaten.
basically, and so my suggestion is, Bungdo, are you able to look like someone else?
I mean, I could act like a kid.
Yes, but well, you know what? Yes, that'll work.
Big bushy beard and all.
Yeah, can we hide that a little bit? Do you have a way to hide?
I
have
could put
a,
it inside my robe.
I have a head covering.
Oh.
No man, a mask. Bow, bow.
No in a mask. Alright, sweet.
All right. So, the full plan then is go to the clearing with Bungdo bundled up, I guess, to hide the beard.
Yeah, we're basically going to bundle Bungdo up, we're gonna follow him, and we'll have him go out to the clearing and sit on the log, and we'll watch, and just, if anything attacks Bungdo, we're taking it out. But I mean, I'll let Bungdo know that it's gonna take you to its house. So if it doesn't attack you, then maybe we should try to go to this thing's source and take care of it.
Okay.
So just do your Bungdo stuff, but act a kid. So, and then Maya, you're pretty stealthy, right? Pretty sneaky.
Yeah, usually.
All right, I'll let you stay in front of Bungdo, and I'm gonna hang about 50 yards back. Because I look at my armor. I'm not very good at
It's
sneaking.
you, Eric.
What?
Eric's trying to talk.
Oh.
Consequently, he's also failing.
Yes. All the tech issues. Hello?
He's having serious issues.
Yeah.
He is restarting Discord.
Okay. That usually fixes it.
Discord is frozen.
Yep, that did it. Gotta love Discord. Did it work?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you.
Was is up?
A lot more now that Discord's not fucking frozen.
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, you guys were talking about people being sneaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So basically, we're sending Bungdo out Then Maya's gonna follow, and then I'm gonna follow at a distance because I'm noisy.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I know I'm noisy, so I'm not even gonna try.
That's fair.
So
Okay. So, yeah. If you're all good with the plan, you guys head out from camp, basically one at a time. Bungdo taking the lead and following the directions that you guys have been given, which is basically just go.
I thought I was taking the lead.
well, no, it was Bungdo's going out because she's looking for a kid. Then
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
then me.
No, okay.
Yeah, Bungdo the bait goes first.
Oh, and I did run over and tell what's his name, Rofir. I told him what's going on as well.
Okay,
So,
gotcha. And did you ask him for?
I don't need anybody else, but I did ask him
Okay.
to send somebody over just to watch over them.
Okay,
So,
that'll work.
cool.
So, you depart from the camp one at a time. First, bundled up Bungdo. Then Maya.
Good.
Then Tormilla. Following the directions that you were given, basically